Hi, I'm Dana, and today's video is going to be a bit of a messy personal one because I want to talk about my family. And back in 2022, I went no contact with the majority of my family. However, I also have and had a whole bunch of family that I also just don't really speak to. A lot of my family connecting happened through my parents, and my dad died when I was 18, so that pretty much ended me talking to his side of the family. And I only saw the family that I did see because I saw my mum so often. So it was a big mixture of people that I actively was like, I don't want to be around you, I don't like you as a person. A lot of my family is very racist and has very much gone down the sort of like working class UK route that a lot of people are going down, and it became like almost impossible to have actual conversations with them. You know, like I would mention having trouble getting a doctor's appointment, or someone had been rude to me in Asda, and they'd immediately be like, oh, it's these Muslims, isn't it? And I'd be like, no, what is happening here? Like, they became so difficult to speak to. I don't want to reconnect with those people whatsoever, you know? Like, I very much, cutting off my mother and not having to see those people was very much part of the benefit of cutting off my mother and not having to see those people, you know? But that being said, we did have family friends, and there were definitely family members that I did like. And it's also like, I had a very horrible relationship with my nan, and my nan on my mum's side was a very abusive woman, and she's since died. So like a lot of the family that I would have reconnected with, i.e. my mum and my nan, they're not there to do that with anymore. And a good amount of the rest of them I either didn't see regularly or didn't like seeing them when I did. However, on my dad's side, and like I said, there are a few like extended bits of family on my mum's side and family friends that like I really did like, and I would have liked to reconnect, and we're gonna come back to that in a mo. But the people on my dad's side, I just have not spoken to since I was like 13, 14 and lived in Denmark and saw them regularly, because they live in another country as well. That's part of why each side of the family is so separated, you know, is that they live in completely different countries. So for the last 3 years, I've just not spoken to any sort of family member whatsoever. And for a lot of them, it's not that they've been cut off, it's just that I didn't fucking talk to them anyway, you know? But I'm in a position now where I feel like I've done a whole bunch of healing, and I'm just not so much in the space of like, I don't need family, they're all horrible anyway. You know, as much as I was very aware that that like wasn't the case of them all being awful, families are very connected, you know? And I didn't want to be like going to meet up with this family friend and having that get back to my mum. Honestly, one of the big things for me is that I'm probably not going to reconnect with anyone on my mum's side, even the people that I like, because I have no idea what my mum told them, you know? I went from being the daughter that was there every single day, that did everything I could for her, that was the perfect daughter. Everyone thought I was so brilliant and so great because I was putting 210% energy into being the perfect daughter for my mother, because anything less was the worst thing in the world and she made me feel terrible for it. So I was putting full energy in and everyone thought I was great. And then I just stopped going, you know? Like, I feel like a lot of people I see talk about going no contact with their families, it was this like sort of slow progression. And it's one of those things where for me, emotionally and like mentally, it was a slow progression of being like, these people are kind of awful. I don't like these people. I don't agree with these people. I don't want to be around these people. Like, the internal side of that was very slow, but I was still going to see them every single day because I also had the whole thing of my mum being diagnosed with cancer. So obviously I needed to look after her. And then we had one big blowout argument and she asked for her front door key back, and I was like, fine, I'm not coming back then. I'm not coming back. And absolutely, her and my brother did not think I was being serious, you know? Like, they will have absolutely been sat there for the next few weeks being like, when's she gonna come back? And it will have eventually sunk in that like, I fucking wasn't. And I have no idea what's been said to other people, you know? I don't know if she's told them the truth and been like, oh, we had this one big blowout argument and she ain't come back. Or if it's been the whole like, that's the thing, I don't even know what she would tell people as the alternative to the truth. But I also feel like the truth just won't have been told, you know? Like, from my experience with past family situations and the like. So it's one of those things where even like 2 family friends come to mind that were sisters, so it kind of feels like one family friend. But they were the people that like I was closest within my family, with the people that weren't even blood related to me. I would quite like to reconnect with them realistically. I felt close to them. I liked them as people. I felt like we had a good, like, you know, we called them family. They called us family. I felt like we had going well. And they were also the only people that, like, when my mum was going on like racist or homophobic rants or whatever, would be like, I don't think that's quite right. And then being that bit older, like being her same age and being people that she'd known for a long time, she listened to them a hell of a lot more than she listened to me. You know, like, I really liked and respected and loved these people, and I don't think I'm ever going to talk to them again because I have no idea what they've been told, and I don't want to know, honestly. Like, I'd kind of like to know if it is the truth. If it's anything else, I'd rather just not know whatsoever, you know? And as such, because of that fact, I'd rather just not know at all. I think that's better for me. When it comes to my dad's side though, I am very much thinking of trying to reconnect. See, it doesn't even feel like I'm reconnecting because it doesn't feel like I feel like I got to know them, but the memories they have of me are of me as like a young teenager, and like, I'm growing now, you know? Like, and the other side of that as well is that one of my cousins on my dad's side is queer, and even when I was a kid they were doing like drag and just being very openly queer and very like, they were a loud personality, you know? Like, my mum absolutely hated them because they were like, she was just like, they're so loud, they're so over the top, they're so in your face. And I loved them. I absolutely adored them. Like, I remember when they came to visit us when I was a little kid and they'd come all the way to the UK, and my dad had gone to pick them up from the airport, and I was playing with toys in the hallway when the front door just burst open and they were like, hello darlings, and I was just like, who the fuck's this? And like, just, I have so many really lovely childhood memories of them, even though I didn't see them that many times. It's just that like, the few times I did see them, they had such an impact on me to see someone be so like unabashedly themselves. Like, I just thought they were fucking brilliant, you know? And they're very much the only like blood family person I have that I've ever felt that way about. But to them, I was their like 7-year-old cousin that they took on a shopping trip for my birthday, you know? Like, they for one, they don't have the context of like, I had to absolutely fight and battle my fucking parents to be allowed to go on that shopping trip with them. Like, my parents really didn't like them and thought they were like a bad influence because they were too loud and they were too themselves and they're too gay and whatever else. So like, I really like put a lot of effort and thought to get to spend time with them the few times that I did. And I was just some kid that they were entertaining for a few hours, you know? Like, I just really don't feel like it'll be the same level of memory for them. And it's also a thing of like, because I don't feel like it is reconnecting, I feel like I'm connecting, like hoping to connect with them for the first time. And it doesn't feel like I'm part of any family, you know? Sorry, Otis is using the litter box. So on my dad's side, I have an aunt, my dad's sister, and her 2 children that are my cousins, and they are significantly older than me. Like, I want to say 20 years older than me. Like, I was a child and they were full-grown adults getting married and like doing grown-up things, you know? Like, they are lots older than me, so it doesn't really feel like I fit with them whatsoever. I also haven't kept in touch with them for the last few years. And it was while thinking about this earlier that I was like, I literally don't know if my aunt is still alive. Like, she was a good bit older than my dad, and my dad's been dead since I was 18. It's 10 years for my dad now. Like, I genuinely don't know if she's still alive. You know, like, it just feels so weird to pop up to someone that I'm related with no context and no knowledge, and just be like, hey, how's it going? We haven't spoken to each other in 15 plus years. You haven't known me since I was a child. What's up? Like, I have no idea what the fuck it is. Like, that's the thing, I'm gonna try and draft a message to them, but I feel like it's gonna become like a super long, rambly bit of bollocks, to be honest with you. Because like, I don't know how to condense like, you had a great impact on me as a child and we are technically blood related, so I would like to have some sort of relationship, but this is basically entirely based on the fact that I liked you when I met you as a child and our parents grew up together. Like, you know, I will give that I think some of this is me being autistic and slightly overthinking, because family weirds me out, and having the type of family that I've had close to me, I've very much had to disconnect from the idea of family like meaning something and family being, you know, like the whole blood is thicker than water and all that. So it feels really weird after doing all of that unpacking and like dealing with that to then be like, but we're blood, so we should talk, right? You know, it just feels a bit contradictory, hypocritical. I don't know, it just feels a bit silly. And I think that's the other thing, is messaging a family member and like reconnecting. It feels vulnerable. Like, I feel small and silly and desperate and awkward, because it is very much being like, hi, I'd like to have you in my life. I'd like to build a connection. I'd like someone to be around. You know, it just feels like the act of trying to connect with a family member it has a lot of like background context and stuff that you're not saying but is being said with the action, that I feel very vulnerable and uncomfortable with. And that's a big thing that I've been realising lately, is that I am sort of like reluctant to build connections, because so many of the connections that I've put lots of like love and time and energy and emotion into, I regret doing. The people didn't deserve it, and they fucked me over and like otherwise upset me and hurt me and just like didn't put the same energy in, and it's been really shitty. I don't want to do that again. You know, and I've been doing that based on meeting people who I like their personality, and I've grown to trust them. I've put the years into getting to know them to be able to trust them, and I've still been like, oh, I was wrong all along. And I'm gonna do that purely based off the fact that our parents came from the same woman. Like, it, you know, it feels like I'm putting myself in a really risky situation for limited payoff, for one. And I think the other side, and this might be a bit of like a disconnected thought from that, I think I might have like had just like a half thought there, but it's also a thing of like, I'm very aware that my brain is going straight to my non-binary queer cousin, because that's the person that I'm used to being safe. You know, it's the other queer people that I'm like, oh, we can build our own family, we can be our own thing. And it feels like I'm almost missing an opportunity in having an actual blood relative who actually is my like blood, like legitimate like family. It feels like I'm like missing out on something by not having that be close to me, and by not taking advantage, but by not taking advantage of the fact that I have someone that's like me who is technically a blood relative, you know? But I think it's also a thing of like, that'll just make it all the more upsetting and hurtful to me if I don't get on with them, and if they don't want to reconnect, which is also possible and plausible. I was gonna say they've been flaky in the past, but this is another thing where that's just what my parents said, and my parents weren't particularly fucking nice about them, so I really don't know if that's the case. But also, if it is the case and I find that out myself, I know that that'll upset me. And it is the thing of like, I understand that to like get the benefits out of life, you have to put yourself out there and take risks. But I'm also just so fucking tired of putting myself out there and taking risks and being like, oh, wish I hadn't done that, this really sucks. And as much as I've done the work on trying to like unpack why family matters so much and all of that, it does definitely sting a bit more when it's like, oh, my blood family, the only people in the world that are like supposed to like me and supposed to accept me, even they can't fucking do it. Even for them, I'm too like unbearable. The rejection factor and the likelihood of rejection just feels quite high. And I just really don't want to experience that from family, even though I don't think it is that big a thing. And I've been working really hard for several years to unpack why it is such a big thing. There is still a part of me that very, very desperately wants family, you know? And I do think that some part of this is probably that we're coming up to a year since my mum died. It'll be a year in August. So that felt like the big end of like any possible family for me, you know, because the English side of my family is so like flaky and disconnected and mean to each other, and there's always some sort of something going on between them. Like, I'm just, even when I was a part of it, I was very aware that I wouldn't have been a part of it if it weren't that my mum was, and I never really understood how my mum ended up being such a part of it outside of like being the eldest of several children or something. I don't know. I never really understood how my family worked, you know? It didn't seem like any communication happened or anyone talked to each other, and yet everyone always like knew everything about each other. I really didn't get it. But it's just the kind of thing that I'm very aware that I wouldn't have continued being a part of it post my mother dying, whether I'd remained in that situation or not, you know? Like, I very much think it would have been a case of like, I'd have actually gone to her funeral and seen them there, and I'm sure everyone would have given me a big hug and told me how awful it is and how they like love me so much and they're so sorry, just like they did when my dad died, before not speaking to me again. Like, I think even though it was like, what, like 6-7 years before, I think my dad's funeral was like sort of a precipice for things, because like my entire family showed up and everyone was coming over and telling me how they were so sorry and they'd be there for me, and I had everyone around me and blah blah blah. I didn't fucking see them again until it was like they'd invited me mum for dinner and she was taking me along or some shite. Just like most people through my life, and especially in my family, have very much been all talk and no action. And even though it's a completely different side of the family and a completely different group of people that I literally haven't even met the people that I otherwise consider to be family, it's terrifying to think about putting myself in that situation again with other people and going through it all again. And I've definitely developed like a degree of like, I don't know the word, I don't know what word I want to use here at all. Like almost like a aversion to family, you know? Like, yeah, I could reconnect and it could be really nice and lovely, but all of the things that could go wrong make me not even want to bother, even though I want to. And I think the fact that I can't entirely unpack why I want to is also part of what's holding me back. I am just like, why do I want to speak to these people? You know, like it's been over a decade. I could have spoken to them at any other... To be fair, I did try to reconnect with my other cousin at one point, and she was all like, oh yeah, we'll like sort of FaceTime or whatever, and it never happened. And that's something I face a lot, is suggesting things to people, but like initiating the thing, and they're like, yeah, sure, totally. And I'm like, what now? What next? I don't know what to do. I've initiated. You're supposed to follow in with something. I don't know what to do. So yeah, if I don't contact anyone or try to reconnect with anyone or do anything, then this is all you'll hear about it. If I do, and they reply in any way, I'm sure you'll also hear about that. I do want to make more videos about this type of topic and like no contact families and family estrangement and stuff, but I feel like it's difficult to make videos about it that I feel like will be helpful to people, because it's such unique situations, you know. I don't mean mine specifically, I mean like every single person's family situation and no contact situation or whatever else people are going through with families. It is so unique that I don't necessarily feel like these are helpful to anyone. I don't know. Like this one specifically, I feel like might be. That's why I've bothered to film it and will bother to edit it and then post it, is because I think it might be helpful to someone. But a lot of the topics about it that I want to talk about, I feel like it is just that like I'm constantly thinking about this, not constantly, but like regularly thinking about this stuff, and it doesn't go any further than that. And talking about it would probably help me to make a decision if it's something I can like put away or something I want to act on. But like a whole bunch of stuff is also just stuff where I'm like, and that sucks. You know, there's no way around it. Like, a lot of it's just shit. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling now because my mouth is incredibly dry. And I have a baby that you can't see. He's like rolling over. I'm gonna try and show you him in a minute. Oh, he's so cute. So yeah, that's the video. You can like and subscribe if you want to. If you want to leave any sort of topic suggestions that you would find helpful, I would really appreciate that, and I will most probably follow and do it. If you want to see more of me, you can also find me over on TikTok, Instagram or Blue Sky. I still have only made one post on Blue Sky, but I'm gonna like do it eventually, I swear. Just let me play with his toes. It's so cute. Yeah, you can also find me on Ko-fi or Patreon. Whoever you are, wherever you are, you can have a lovely morning, evening, day, afternoon, week, month, year. And I will see you again in a couple of days. I'm gonna try not to disturb him. Okay, I'm gonna pull the wire. How cute. See? You can't even hear him purring, but oh, I'm doing great with this angling. He flopped on my hand, so this is all I can do, but oh my god. What if I just... Yeah. Okay, bye.